Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game on News Central TV. Now to more sports stories. Sad day it was for Nigeria in the world of sport. The Kano State Government, by the way, has announced a 1 million in support for each family of the 22 young athletes who died in a tragic road crash while returning from the 2025 National Sport Festival in Abeokuta. Deputy Governor Aminu Gwarzo disclosed the gesture during a condolence visit to Nasarawa Hospital in Kano, where 20 of the victims have been identified. 2 were taken home for burial. The athletes had represented Kano at the festival, some winning medals before their untimely deaths. Now, the government also pledged food items and relief support for the bereaved families, and 7 injured athletes have been treated at the Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital, and the state assured long-term support and quality medical care for all affected families and individuals and their families. Joining us this morning is our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu. Joins us. Emmanuel Bagudu, good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Emmanuel, a sad day it is for Nigerian sports. Lots of condolences have been poured out, but I know you were also at the scene to look at firsthand what went down. Is there anything that, aside what we are hearing about the government giving out money to the families, are there anything being done to prevent further occurrences? Some have said, why didn't the athletes take flight instead of going all the way? And we also hear that when the closing ceremony was done on Thursday, they hit the road almost immediately that night, heading back to Kano. What do you think can be done to prevent such kind of disaster like this?
Yes, a lot has to be done. I mean, when you look at the reaction of residents, the reaction of eyewitnesses, one of the eyewitnesses, if you listen to that interview very well, in that story, one of the eyewitnesses was claiming that, of course, one of the survivors told him that he actually saw the driver sleeping. I mean, that's what he claimed. And of course, the driver has been sleeping all through the journey, and they've been warning him that he needs to park and rest and all that. And then, of course, there were no first aid kits, according to what the eyewitness said. Then, of course, just like you said, they are supposed to use flight. I mean, traveling from north down southwest, it's really a long journey. And then, of course, we're looking at having more than one driver. I mean, which they should have at least 4 drivers in that vehicle. And, of course, normal elementary driving lessons will tell you that when you drive for 4 hours, you're supposed to park and rest. But this gentleman drove all the way from Ogun up to, of course, when he arrived home, he must have gotten exhausted. And then that happened. Of course, you look at the roads, these roads are very, very good. It's not an issue of bad roads, it's not an issue of mechanical issue. It's just an issue of fatigue, which has to be taken care of. And I mean, it has to be prevented. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Emmanuel Bagudu, do you think that 1 million is enough to compensate the family? I mean, having to dole out 1 million each to the family of the victims, do you think is enough?
No, it's not enough. This is just an immediate reaction. I mean, by the deputy governor, of course, Governor Yusuf is out of town, of course, for Umrah. I mean, just an immediate reaction. We expect a lot of, gestures and condolences as soon as the governor is back. It's just the deputy governor trying to react immediately while his principal is away. So we expect that is not enough. That is not enough, of course. We expect that, and we shouldn't just look at that as just a compensation. That is not a compensation. I don't think so. It's just a way of reacting just to solve some immediate issues around. Yeah.
All right, Emmanuel Bagudu, let me take you to years ago. I mean, I had to travel with one of the state contingents to the National Youth Games, and at the point we were driving into the night, we had to stop in Edo State in Benin City, and we slept at the filling station in that place, and we continued our journey around 4 a.m. And I'm also looking at other states in the past. Most of them feel that for you to start your journey in the morning, it means that you have to look for accommodation. So they tell the drivers, let's keep going, let's keep moving. Just about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, during the National Sports Festival in Edo State, Nasarawa State, when going back to Lafia, were attacked by robbers, but thank God nothing happened. The escort was able to dispel the person. Don't you think it's time, it's a wake-up call where we prioritize the health and safety of our athletes in Nigeria? I'm not saying, you should not travel by road, but then again, looking at the timing and also trying to break these trips. Going from Abeokuta, you probably could have, like you said, stopped in the south and then continued again. But the state government, shouldn't it get to a point whereby they say when you want to travel, even if you're going to go by road, they should make arrangements for hotels in case you stop at a particular place and you want to pass the night?
Yes, of course. That's a good observation. But you see, Nigerians, of course, these things it's just an unfortunate tragedy. These things have been happening, and then we get away with it. Probably this may serve as a lesson for us to learn. Just like we said, I mean, the question of even stopping by in a hotel is not even the case. They should take flights. It won't cost anything much to take at least 30 people, on a plane to a sport festival meant to represent the biggest state in northern Nigeria. Talking about
we're not talking about 30 athletes right now. I mean, if I'm to check the Kano State contingent will be over 200, over 300. Do you think it's going to, something the Kano State government can say can actually fly over 200 athletes and officials to Abeokuta, to Ogun State and back?
Yes, Kano State has 44 local governments. Each of those local governments is being taken care of well by the faculty location. They can afford it. They have the biggest budget in northern Nigeria. They have a whooping population of going close to 20 million. So they have that. They have the highest allocation in northern Nigeria, so they can afford to fly even 300. That I can say that confidently. I think the reason is just the fact that things have been going smoothly. This kind of error has not happened before. That is why everybody just relaxed. And then, of course, whether we like it or not, we must be forced to change the way we do things, because this has actually served as a big lesson for us. So Kano State can afford that. Kano State has the biggest allocation in northern Nigeria, if not in the 19 most northern states. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to Emmanuel Bagudu. We'll be keeping tabs with this story, and we hope that measures will be put in place to avoid issues like this, and hoping that whenever drivers are being appointed to drive contingents or whatever persons to a place, they also need to undergo a series of tests, and especially being monitored closely to avoid issues like this. But thank you very much for your time, and we say may the souls of the departed rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you. Amen. Yeah.
All right, indeed a sad one right there for Nigerian sports. Athletes traveling back after representing the state, winning medals, some of them, and then having to go through this, incident. Really sad. I mean, like I said, when you're driving, when you're fatigued, it's best to just park and take some rest. I mean, we've seen some drivers going through journeys, 24 hours, no rest, continue driving, and then at the end of the day, lives are in risk. And it's really nice if you look at yourself and tell yourself that it's time to just take a rest. I mean, 5 seconds of sleep or 10 seconds of sleep might cause a disaster that if only you had just slept for like maybe 10-20 minutes would have averted that particular disaster. But of course, we'll be keeping tabs with what will be done and how these measures can be put to rest. And joining us this morning to talk sport is a sports journalist who was at the National Sports Festival. I'm talking about Bemidepo Popola. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining.
Good morning to you. It's good to be here once again.
All right, Bemidepo. We spoke about the beautiful things about the sports festival. I remember talking to you on Thursday, and while I was talking to you when the closing ceremony was ongoing, the state decided to say, let's start moving. We need to pack our bags. We need to hit the road and then go back to base. And that long hours of journey without rest have resulted to a disaster.
Yeah, I think, as you rightly said while speaking with Bagudu earlier, for me, I would say there should have always been plans. I'm not always a fan of saying traveling immediately after an event or immediately after a program, especially when you are going on a long distance journey like that. But it's so sad to see. We are so devastated. We are all sad at this point in the nation this morning. And it could have been, averted. It could have... I've heard a lot of talking about the driver here and there, but at the end of the day, he is someone just under authority as well. If he had decided not to travel that night as well, it would have been noted or taken in as insubordination as well. So I think we should also consider the driver. He is a family man as well. He has people as well that looks up to him, and he's under authority. So I think those in control, his leaders, those that put him there, and should be held accountable as well.
All right,
not just to the driver, not just to the individuals, sports commission. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, agree with you, but well, you do have a point. I mean, but it's always said whenever you're in the bus or in the vehicle, it's not just about the driver alone. I mean, you also in that bus, you're also part of the contingent. I mean, that's why when you see that a driver is maybe driving reckless, you call the driver to order. I mean, I've also been in situations whereby I see the drivers. I've been in the bus also before where the driver was sleeping, and I did notice, and we had to clamor for the driver to stop and park. And the driver later confessed that he went to a party a night before. I mean, there are many things that happen that you just don't keep calm because you feel the lives of also the driver, the lives of the passengers, also the driver's hands. I mean, you should be able to say this. And for the driver himself, I mean, really, really, I know, yes, authorities do come and say, let's move out now, but priorities should be placed on the safety, the welfare of anybody, an athlete, an official. We should be able to look at that and say, welfare, safety over an order that can risk lives.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Priorities should be placed on welfare, safety. Priorities should be placed on life. Priorities should be placed on, the input and the basics of life, which says that, this should not have even happened in the first place. Certainly, I agree with you. The question I would also ask is the fact that he was not the only one on the bus. He had people sitting in front as well who could have also signaled, like you rightly said, informed the others, this driver is sleeping, or probably everyone on the bus was probably sleeping, because you do not expect an individual to move immediately after such an event. I was at the closing ceremony. It was tiring for me. It was stressful for me. I drove about, should I say 3, 4, 5 kilometers, and I could feel the effect on myself as well. Not to talk about someone driving from Abeokuta to Kano at that same time. So I think, like I said earlier on, we should also cut the driver a slack. He is not the only one in the bus. Everyone could have told the driver, park. Our
correspondent did say before he left, he said, according to one of the survivors, he did say that yes, the driver was sleeping, and he told him that he should take some rest. According to our correspondent who spoke from Kano, that yes, they could establish that the driver was sleeping, and they also said he should rest. But we have to get to the state. We have to keep moving.
So sad to see that. Unfortunately, I don't think he's anymore to be even brought to book. But I think this is a warning for the state government officials and whoever is in charge, of the federation, sporting federation at this point in time, to know what to do, and also to help ahead of time as well, to know that probably ahead of the next competition, we do not travel until the following day. I've seen footballers, travel the following day, or at times even 2 days after the game, to give the players rest sometimes. But I know in this part of the world, most times we say we commit a lot of blunders talking about trying to save money at the cost of saving lives, which at the end of the day are resulted in this Kano tragedy.
All right, so wait to see, how it goes. I also remember, I won't mention the club side, but a club side went to Kano years ago, in 2018, to play a match. I did follow that particular club side from immediately the match finished at 6. We hit the road to Kaduna that same evening and night. Although we stopped at Kaduna and continued the journey the next day, but clubs do not want to just waste their large players. Just feel it's necessary to move on more. It's really dangerous. But let's also let you know that Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, and Chairman of the main organizing committee of the 22nd National Sports Festival has expressed deep sorrow over the tragic accident that claimed 19 lives from the Kano State contingent. Describing the loss as a devastating moment for Nigerian sport, Olopade emphasized the urgent need to prioritize the safety and welfare of athletes and officials. He vowed to lead conversation with key stakeholders to prevent such tragedies in the future, while extending condolences to the victims of the victims' families and the people of Kano. He reaffirmed his commitment to supporting affected families and pushing for reforms in travel safety during national sports events. Olopade called the moment a black day for Nigerian sports. Yes, indeed, a black day for Nigerian sports. By the way, Kano State Deputy Governor Aminu Gwarzo has offered condolences to the families of athletes who died in a tragic road crash at the Chiromawa Bridge while returning from the National Sports Festival. in Ogun State. Representing Governor Kabir Yusuf, currently in Saudi Arabia, Gwarzo described the loss as a devastating blow to the state and sporting community. He announced a donation of 1 million naira and food items to each bereaved family. A deputy governor visited the Nasarawa and Murtala Specialist Hospital to meet victims' family and injured survivors. He pledged continued government support and called for proactive safety measures to prevent future tragedies on state roads.